expectations in check. Anything can happen and we ain't home yet. I got more alive behind me than I do up ahead. I ain't no one's blue-eyed hero, but I got no regrets. Well, I'm crusty and I'm tough, and I refuse to die. Gonna stare this crazy old world straight in the eye, in the eye. Some say Jesus will save me, in his spirit I must dwell. Jesus only saves the ones that help themselves. The river's still rising, the sky is low and gray. Keep your eye on the horizon and take it day by day. I'm crusty and I'm chuffed, I refuse to die. Gonna stare this crazy old world straight in the eye, in the eye. Keep your hot brim low, expectations in check. Anything can happen and we ain't home yet. I got more alive behind me than I do up ahead. I ain't no one's blue-eyed hero, but I got no regrets. I'm crusty and I'm chuffed, I refuse to die. Gonna stare this crazy old world straight in the eye, in the eye.
Our 21st year of presenting Winterfolk. My name is Brian Gladstone, and I will be your host for this evening. I founded, thank you so much. I founded the festival 21 years ago in downtown Toronto, and we're one of the few folk festivals that have survived for so many years, and I think we have a very exciting and vibrant music community in Toronto. Now, this is streamed over YouTube across the world, but for those of you who live in Toronto, we have 2 days of live performances, which would be tomorrow, February 25th and 26th. We have our new home in the Kensington Market, and if you go to the website, winterfolk.com, you can still get wristbands and find out who all the artists and performers are. Now, we had originally scheduled the lovely Tanis Sliman for the opening spot, and unfortunately, as luck would have it or not have it, she came down with COVID. And I've been communicating with her the last few days, and we just made a decision that she probably wasn't well enough to play at Winterfolk this year. But she did write a note, and she asked me to read it to everybody. This is from Tanis. These are her words. I'm so sorry that I cannot be with you and with my partner Lewis as planned, but I ran into that nasty COVID bug, and it's better that we don't come there in the interest of everybody else's health. Thanks to Cleela for stepping up at the last minute, which she did. I just, two days ago, I said, Cleela, you're on 8 o'clock. You're on 8 o'clock live. And Cleela said, like a true professional, she said, absolutely, whatever I can do. Best wishes to Winterfolk and all the crew that put the festival together. That's from Tanis. Now, she's probably watching, so give her a hand and say, we miss her. So, for those of you who don't know Cleela, she sings like an angel. She does. She told me to say that. Did you? No. Okay. I've known Cleela, like most people in the roots music community, for at least 20 years. First time I met her was I heard her do an interview on, I think it was CJRT 91.1 around the year 2000. And I was just starting out in music then, and I was trying to figure out how to get audiences. So I figured out I should surround myself with much more established, better performers. So we did a concert for Earth Day Canada back then, and Cleela stepped up. I was asking her a bit about her past, and apparently she was a choir girl at Havergale College.
That's true.
That's true, and she's done a lot of festivals throughout North York. She has a golden singing voice, and you'll hear it for yourselves in a minute or so. And not only is she a songwriter, but she's a marvelous interpreter of other artists' materials. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, at the last minute, the lovely Cleela Arrington.
Thank you, Brian. I'd like to start this live stream with a beautiful song by Eliza Gilkison. It's something of a prayer, and it's called Once I Had a Home. Once I had a home, I still have the key. I take it everywhere I go to prove that all I've said is so, and all the world can see. The walls were painted blue, the front door carved by hand, and generations of my kin. Strangers all were welcomed in when they walked upon the land. Pray for us all, the nameless, the fallen, faces forgotten. Once I had a home, olive trees once bloomed where mounds of rubble stand. A man could feel himself a king when water springs from well and spring, and peaceful is the land. Pray for us all, the nameless, the fallen, faces forgotten. Once I had a home. The stars shine down on bone and skin, on wire and walls that keep us in, on roads that don't lead home again. Pray for us all, with all the world watching. Pray for us all, with all the world watching. Pray for us all. Once I had a home. Thank you. That was Eliza Gilkison's song. I'd like to follow it with a song I learned from the Trio album, a traditional song called Dear Companion. Have you seen my dear companion? She was all this world to me. Now the stars have turned against me, and she cares no more for me. I wish I were a swallow fly to a high and lonesome place. I join the wild birds in their crying, thinking of you and your sweet face. Oh, have you seen my dear companion? He was all this world to me. Now he's gone to some far country, and he cares no more for me. I wish I were a swallow fly. I'd fly to a high and lonesome place. I join the wild birds, they're crying, thinking of you and your sweet face. When the dark is on the mountain and the world is gone to sleep, I will go down to the cold dark water, and I'll lay me down and weep. Oh, have you seen my dear companion? Thank you. I'd like to do a Memphis mini song. This is called Got to Make a Change Blues. I'm sad and blue, lonesome too. The man I love is so untrue. I got to make a change. 'Cause he ain't no good. I can't stay no longer. I got traveling on my mind. Oh, he drive me out of my money, and he's sleeping all the time too. I can't please that man, no matter what I do. I got to make a change, 'cause he ain't no good. I can't stay no longer. I got traveling on my mind. Traveling on my mind. I'm not in love. My heart don't pain. You whiskey drinking man, you don't mean nothing. I got to make a change, 'cause he ain't no good at times. I can't stay no longer. I got traveling on my mind. Oh, now listen up, good women. Please take my advice. Don't ever love a man 'cause he talks sweet and nice. Do you have to make a change if he ain't no good? I can't stay no longer. I got traveling on my mind. Oh, I can't stay much longer. I got traveling on my mind. Traveling on my mind. Thank you very much. I'd like to do an original song. This one's called The Little Sparrow. And it has a sing-alongable chorus should you want to join in. Yep. And the chorus goes like this. Thank you very much. How are we doing for time? Okay. Oh, good. I'd like to do a version of I Know You Rider, which has been covered by lots of different people. But this is a version by Judy Roderick, recorded in the 60s, and she called it Woman Blue. I know you, rider, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. I know you, rider, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss your baby from rolling in your eyes. I wish I was a headlight on that northbound train. Oh, I wish I was a headlight on that northbound train. Oh, I'd shine my light through the falling rain. Oh, I lay down last night, Lord, I could not take my rest. I lay down last night, but I could not take my rest. Oh, my mind was flying like the wild geese to the west. I know you, rider, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. I know you, rider, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss Thank you very much. So for my last song, I'd like to do another original. This one's called Open Up My Heart, and it was inspired by a song by Ali Farka Touré and Rai Cooter from an album called Talking Timbuktu. I'll just take a quick drink of water before I... Open up my heart. Open up my heart. Let me feel the rhythm in my veins. Open up my heart. Let me feel the joy and the pain. Open up my heart. I surrender to the spirit deep within. Open up my heart. Let me hear you singing in the wind. Open up my heart. Dry my tears. Deliver me from my fears. Open up my heart, weigh me down. Walk with me unbound. Open up my heart. Walk with me unbound. Thank you very much.
Let's give it up for the lovely Cleela Arrington. Thank you, Cleela. That was great. I told you she sings like an angel. And why don't you come over here and talk to me? So, Cleela. She's on the way over here as we're setting up for Harp and Norm. That was a marvelous set, Cleela.
Thank you.
Give it up for one more time, Cleela Arrington. On like 2 days' notice, you did a marvelous set. That was great. Now, Cleela,
Yes, Brian.
you've been doing this forever, sort of. What gives you pleasure now? I mean, I'm sure you've done everything, played everywhere, you know everyone. So what inspires you now to get up on stage and make a difference?
Well, mostly I think I'm starting to get a little more self-confident and more relaxed, because the key is to be relaxed. Otherwise, it's hard to let the music come through as well as you would like. So yeah, I just feel like a good wine, we get better as we get older.
Okay. What type of wine are you referring to?
Mostly red wine from the New World.
Mostly red wine from the New World. And recently, I understand you're collaborating with some other artists in your writing. And if anybody doesn't know this, she has a very talented daughter who's making waves in the jazz community, Jocelyn Barth. And I'm sure you had a major influence on her, and I'm sure you still sing with her because I've heard you.
That's true. We sometimes sing together. She did record with me on my album, More Love and Happiness. She is the little sparrow on that album. She sings on that song. But yeah, now I'm working with Barbara Lynch.
Yeah, take it down
when you booked Barbara and me at Winterfolk 2020, we were in the same venue and we reconnected from a long time ago. So we've been writing and rehearsing since then. And now we have a residency at the Transac. Starting in April, we're there every first Saturday of the month. Can't wait.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, Cleela, and we really enjoyed you. So what's in the future for you? As I said, you've done everything, been everywhere, know everyone. What is exciting? What's up and coming? What can we expect from Cleela Arrington in the next millennium, in the next decade?
Well, I'd like to retire from my day job and get out to hear more music because there's so much in the city, but it's hard to get out at night if you're working in the day in an office. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Retirement from the day job, getting out to hear and see more of what goes on here because there's so much in the city to take advantage of.
There's definitely so much in the city to take advantage of. And day jobs, just from my opinion, really suck. You know, I used to have one, you know, and but not anymore. Well, I'm really glad you're here. Now, we go back a long time. We met like 20 years ago at the Transac Club in our path. Like most musicians, you know, most people in the industry, our paths cross from time to time. We never know when, but we're always bumping into people that we know. And who did you say? I would have done it again. But nobody told me. Okay, well that's great. Give it up one more hand for Cleela Arrington. Okay, so we're setting up now for Harp and Norm Lucien. How are you doing, Norm?
Doing fine.
That's good. Now I've known Norm like I'm very happy that I have mostly a personal rapport with most of these artists, and you know, we tend to bump into each other constantly. Norm, him and I have been to Nashville several times on tour, and everybody had a purpose. Norm's purpose was to, whenever we walked into a new venue, Norm would meet everybody within 3 seconds and introduce us all. Norm is one of the hardest working artists that I've ever met. I first encountered you when you came to my open stage. I don't remember what year, probably 10, 15 years ago. And you just kept coming. You just kept showing up every week. And he's one of the few artists that he built his own following just from hard work. And I think he was out like 7 nights a week performing. And he's laughing. At the end of it, everybody, you say the word Harp and Norm, and everybody knew who he was. And the funny thing was, they call him Harp and Norm. His name is Norm Lucien, but he told me his name was Norm Harpin. I said, wow, that's really a coincidence because you play the harmonica. Well, anyways, he started off as a sideman, and now he's blossomed into a very socially conscious singer-songwriter who writes about topics of substance, like we used to do in the 60s, if those of you who remember that. So he's going to perform some of his magic songs for you now, and I'm going to talk to him afterwards. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce very talented, very driven, my friend, Harp and Norm Lucien.
Hey, nice. Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you very much for having me here at Winterfolk. When my mother was about to turn 93, I decided I'd write a song about her. Most musicians must do that, right? They write a song about their mom. Well, I was finally getting around to it. So I I started writing the song, and then, of course, she turned 93, and I still didn't have the song ready. Sometimes songs are like that. Sometimes they just fall from the sky, and in 10 seconds I've got a song. And then other times they take a couple of years. So she was turning 94, and I finally was able to sing her the song when she turned 94. She's 99 now. I'll tell her you applauded. Actually, it took her until like 95 before she actually listened to the song. Oh, not mine. It was... That's okay. My mother brings out the flowers on the trees. She's still going strong at the age of 93. Well, she's 99 now, but sometimes she's a pain, but a pain you must bear. Brings out the best in you, brings out the best in me. Oh my God, she's 99 now. She's still getting up on step ladders. Get her up. Mama gets her power from the sun. Spreads it around to all her kids, each and every one. Rise up, give a rousing cheer. There's fire in the kitchen. Fill your world with business, fill your world with worldly chores. Fill your world with life demands, opening and closing doors. When your life gets filled right up and gets too much for you, fill your world with mama and you find yourself anew. My ma gets her power from the power of the sun, and spreads it around to all her kids, each and every one. Rise up, give a rousing cheer. There's fire in the kitchen whenever Ma is near. I said there's fire in the kitchen whenever Ma is near. She don't put up with dirty talk, so get it out of here. Mama gets her power from the power of the sun, and spreads it around to all her kids, each and every one. Rise up, give a rousing cheer. There's fire in the kitchen whenever Ma is near us, and there's fire in the kitchen whenever Ma is near. I said my mother brings out the flowers on the trees. Thank you very much. Hey, mostly the songs that I'm going to do tonight are freshly new, and they're not. Some of them are partially recorded, so you're kind of hearing them first, well before the CD comes out, which is probably in the spring. And we'll just change things out here. How is everybody? You're enjoying being here? You're enjoying the food? How's the food? Food's amazing here, isn't it? Okay. And we'll just change this too. So, there's a lot going on in the world, and you kind of often get asked to write songs about this and write songs about that, and you're going to write a song about blah blah. And I try to write songs. I write songs about all kinds of different topics: war in Ukraine, putting highways through nature. So I was thinking about it a lot, and here's the song that I came up with. If I could write words like Bob Dylan, I'd write about how the times are changing again. How this is a moment in our world, and this moment may not ever come again. I'd write about people in power being above the law, who lie and cheat and fool us all for their own gain, who see power as a game, play with our world in dangerous ways. Insane. If I could write words like Odetta or Phil Oakes, I'd write words that empower us all to mend our ways. Never give up on each other. Listen to each other. Compassion as the action of our day. Who will write the words that cut through it all? Gather up our voices and we all stand tall. Who will write the words that cut through it all? Gather up our voices so we all stand tall. If if I could write words like Martin Luther King Jr. or Buffy St. Marie, I'd write words that I'd write about all the needless suffering, needless wars, senseless wars, all the disrespect for one another, all the displaced children of a wounded earth, blessed to rise up and lash back angrily again. I'd speak out in words, maybe not just my own, but words at the heart of all this darkness, words which shed light, but time after time, after time after time, are so often ignored and tossed aside. I may never write the words that ever make a difference, but this moment may not ever come again. Who will write the words that cut through it all? Gather up our voices so we all stand tall. Who will write the words that cut through it all? Gather up our voices so we all stand tall. Thank you. All right. All right. Okay. Where's that going? Okay, this next tune happened in, it's about an incident that happened in London, Ontario. And it's about a family that was run down by, a complete family that was wiped out one day by a senseless truck driver who just decided he didn't like Pakistanis. Let me check this. Wrong one. Okay. Going out walking, will you walk with me? Sidewalks are lovely on a summer evening. Going out walking, will you walk with me? Walking doesn't cost anything. Walking is free. Look at me walking with my family. Mama, Papa, Grandma, big sister and me. cut down just because of the color of our skin. Walking doesn't cost anything. Walking is free. I'm 9 years old and must comprehend how suddenly life can come to an end. Some people use trucks, the same as a gun, destroying life without reason. Hate in their eyes, fear in their hearts. Shooting in the dark. When will our hearts beat as one? When will racist privilege be buried and done? I'm going out walking. Will you walk with me? I offer my hand. Will you walk with me? Must I walk alone? Humanity. Walking doesn't cost anything. Walking is free. And I'd really much rather you walk with me. Together. I'm going out walking. Will you walk with me? I'm going out walking. Will you walk with me? Thank you. One more song, okay. This will be my last song. And this one will be... So I grew up on the Grand River, right alongside the First Nations reservation, the Six Nations. Growing up, I never could understand why First Nation people were so downtrodden, and we were all so well off. Even if we weren't well off, we were way better off than they seemed to be. So this is a song that I wanted to write all my life. I stand with the First Nation. I stand for human rights and dignity. I stand with the First Nation in their hour of need. We are the people in solidarity. The spirits too are watching from land and air and sea. We are one Canadian nation, family. If one is crushed, we are all guilty. I stand with the First Nation. I stand with human rights and dignity. I stand with the First Nation in their hour of need. Canada, oh Canada, hear my plea. Oh Canada, the earth beneath you bleeds. Oh Canada, hear my plea. Oh Canada, the earth beneath you bleeds. Join me on this. I stand with the First Nation. I stand with human rights and dignity. I stand with the First Nation in their hour of need.
Let's give it up for Harper Norm Lucian. What a great set. Thank you so much, Norm. I told you he was charming. So, Norm, why don't you come over and join me and we'll have a little chat here. So, Norm and I have a standing joke here. Did you bring all 13 harmonicas?
I brought 26.
Does anybody know what's the matter with that statement? No? Okay, well, there's only 12 keys in harmonica, so Norm always...
The question was, did you bring all 12 keys?
No, I said 13. I said 13 keys, Norm. So why don't you tell everybody how you got started in music? Because I know it was a long ride for you, and I know you started off as a background player. So why don't you tell everybody how you made the transition to singer, songwriter, superstar?
Okay, I actually grew up in a musical family, quite a bit of music happening, and at about 12 years old, I was given a harmonica, started playing the harmonica, and then played around here and there with largely harmonica. Actually did some guitar and I've written a lot of poetry and that sort of thing. So years and years went by, and about 10 or 15 years ago, I decided I wanted to go out and play some music just to get out of my headspace and whatnot. So I grabbed only a few of I grabbed 6 of the harmonicas that I have, even though I was kind of a closet harmonica player at the time, and went out on the Danforth walking around looking for a place to play. Very quickly found out that everybody really liked my playing. And within 2 days of doing that, I was starting to play with bands. But I was always a backup harmonica player, so I was a backup harmonica player for probably 5 years, just playing harmonica for bands and maybe some harmony. And then there was an open mic where they didn't have enough people come in, and they kind of nastily actually asked me if I'd played anything other than on harmonica. So I played them a whole set with guitar and whatever, and then that was it. I started.
So then the rest is history. Okay. Now, we have some pictures to bring up of you, Norm. All the people online around the world. And by the way, I got a text that somebody in Ukraine is watching this. We have a couple people in Yugoslavia watching this. Now, do you recognize this picture, Norm?
Oh, I sure do. That's Pete Otis.
Sorry you guys can't see it.
Pete Otis and myself. We're at Lola Lounge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's... oh, sorry.
Sorry, it's okay. We only have one mic to share. Pete Otis was a great friend of ours, and unfortunately he passed away. And he was always an inspiration to everybody. He was a great promoter, great presenter, and he always came around to our... Whenever we went to Nashville, Pete was with us. And as I said, everybody had a job, and he was the whip, the party whip. He made sure everybody got up in the morning, say, okay, guys, we got to be on the road by 10. Get up. And he forced us to.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and I know everybody can't see this, except the people watching online. I believe that's a picture of you in Nashville. Am I right or wrong?
I would think so by that wall in the back. I think that's probably in just outside Nashville. In Franklin.
Yeah, we used to play it.
Got invited there for a Canadian night.
It was Canada night, and Norm certainly showed up.
I think that's it, yeah.
And he showed everybody how we do things in Canada. And I know everybody here can't see it, but this is a picture online, and this is...
That must be at Winterfolk. One year or another.
Well, Norm and I go back a long time, and I've watched him grow musically and personally, and he's a marvelous singer-songwriter. And he went from a guy that just showed up to play harmonica, now he's coming out with his 3rd album. So thanks again for a great set, Norm.
Thank you very much.
And everybody give him one more hand.
And thanks everybody for coming to Winterfolk. It's a wonderful venue.
Thank you so much, Norm. Now we're setting up for the lovely Lynn Harrison. And Lynn and I go back a long way. I'm not going to give her I'm not going to do a long introduction, but you know, a lot of artists start out at open stages, and I remember we used to both go to Norm Hacking's open stage, and I used to see you and meet you at the open stage that Trevor Mills ran at Hughes Room.
Yeah, I remember that. Absolutely.
And Lynn has grown. Well, we've all grown, but Lynn especially has grown because she's grown creatively and spiritually. And since I knew her, she's become an ordained minister. And she's nobody say any bad words. And
no, please do. Please do.
Okay.
We're Unitarians. It's
okay. Now, Lynn has that. I pointed this out to her many years ago, and I noticed it. Lynn has the ability to capture a moment in time that evades most people, and she'll get a 5-minute song out of it. She just sees things that normal humans don't. I don't know if that's anyway.
I'm
and
honored.
That's meant to be in the most complimentary sense. So, give it up for one of my favorite artists, Lynn Harrison.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's really a joy to be back at Winterfolk again and to see all of you here tonight at the Free Times. A garden grows in my own backyard. It's where I go now to heal my heart. It's here among all these roots and stones. I come to hear what I've always known, that all I want is a quiet life. All I seek is peace of mind, and all I need in this dimming light is your hand in mine in this quiet life. I used to think that I needed more, set my sights on what's still in store, but the only thing that cuts through that noise is the here and now, and the still small voice saying all I want is a quiet life. All I seek is peace of mind, and all I need in this dimming light is your hand in mine in this quiet life. There's a time for grasping and letting go, a time for asking, a time to know, a time to take and a time to give, a time to live, simply live, simply live, simply all I want is a quiet life. All I seek is peace of mind, and all I need in this dimming light is your hand in mine in this quiet life. Your hand in mine in this quiet life, this quiet life. Thank you so much. So this is a special weekend. It's just really nice to be able to be here at Winterfolk, because the way dates worked out in a kind of interesting coincidental way, it ended up being the same weekend that I'm releasing my new record, which is called Treasure. And thank you. Gosh, thank you so much. So there's a concert taking place at Eastminster Church tomorrow night with my band, Bob Cohen, David Woodhead, Ambrose Potty, and Douglas September, who produced the record. And that song, This Quiet Life, is on it, as is this song. So we're going to stay in the quiet zone. Gonna get even quieter than we did with the last song. Let's talk to each each other like trees. Let's talk to each other like trees. We don't have to use words like these. Let's talk to each other like trees. Let's speak to each other like stones in their subterranean tones. I can feel it deep in my bones. We could speak together like stones. Let's talk to each other in ways we don't even know that we knew. In these inconceivable days, I believe it's all we can do. Let's talk to each other like rain falling on the thirstiest grain. Let's talk to each other like clouds high above these clamoring crowds. Let's be with each other like night, abiding in the absence of light. Let's be with each other like space and listen with an infinite grace. Let's be with each other in ways we don't even know that we knew. In these inconceivable days, I believe it's all we can do. If we were together that way, the earth and the stars would be pleased. And now there's no time to delay. So let's talk to each other like stones, rain, clouds, night, space, trees. Thank you so much. So Brian said that we go back a ways, which is true, and so many people here tonight, but also at Winterfolk in general. You know, we've been on these musical streets for quite a long time, and meeting each other and hearing each other's songs and supporting each other along the way. When I went into ministry, so yes, I'm a Unitarian Universalist minister. I also go by Reverend Lynn, which still seems amazing to me. When I went into ministry, I thought I was giving up music, but music and spirit had other plans. So I'm so happy to still be here playing these songs for all of you. This is a song called Music Town. Where melodies get kicked around like autumn leaves on winter days. You break them down, but still they stay. Some days I wish I could go to someplace far beyond this show, but every day I'm homeward bound, back to my old music town. We live here in Music Town, where every string is tightly wound and it's ringing up against the wind. Voices fall and rise again. Some days I wish I could find another way to ease my mind. I would make no lonesome sound, but I live in a music town. I live in a music town, and in music town we're going way downtown. We live here in music town, where songs survive deep underground. They weep through walls and beat down doors, none so beautiful as yours. When I say I've had enough, I will not write more songs for love. Your voice always turns me round. You keep turning me around. You keep me here in music town. You keep me here in music town. You keep me here. Thank you very, very much. So that's in honor of all of the Winterfolks that have gone back so far. I think I played that one at an early one around 2005, probably something like that. So writing songs and any form of creativity, I think really puts us in touch with something that's really essential about life. And I actually see it as really connected to the divine and the spiritual. And every person, no matter whether they're a musician or a painter or a poet or a carpenter or a teacher or just someone who's a friend, every single person is in touch with that creative spirit. And this song pays tribute to that, the thing that keeps me going, and the thing that whatever it is that I think is behind the songs. I've been searching since early morning for some worthwhile things to say. Sometimes I think I'm getting somewhere, then the sense just slips away. I still don't know how to explain it, what in the world is good and true. But I know it when I see it, and I see it in you. There's a spell that still pulls me under. I'm unable to describe. It has something to do with wonder, everything to do with life. I still don't know if I believe in something beyond this broken blue, but I know it when I see it, and I see it in you. There is something deep in the moment that will never steer you wrong. You'll look for it in every story, every sermon, every song. I admit I don't understand it, even though I pretend I do. But I know it when I see it, and I see it in you. It's a love that has lived forever, yet it takes us by surprise, and it holds us safe and together, whether we're foolish or wise. There are times I cannot receive it, but today I pray I do, 'cause I know it when I see it, and I see it in you. I know it when I see it, and I see it in you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So this goes back into the back catalog again. I'm mixing it up tonight, doing those new songs from the new record, and also going back. This one is from a record called The Conversation. Between rocks and hard places, square pegs in circular spaces, caught in our awkward embraces, here we are again, so far away from each other, both of us running for cover, enemy, stranger, and lover, here we are again. This is where we find ourselves. 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 Back at the end of our tether, here in the inclement weather, smack dab between now and never, here we are again, as we were at the beginning, lost when we thought we were winning, so busy saving we're sinning, here we are again. This is where we find ourselves. 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 So come lay your head on my shoulder, beautiful eye and beholder. Each day's a little bit colder, and here I am again. Maybe we're right where we should be, and if we're not, maybe we could be moving right into the mystery. Here we are again and again and again. This is where we find ourselves. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I think I have one more song left. Is that right, Brian? Thank you. So I've been writing songs a very long time, since I was about 12 years old, and I know that I don't write songs to get rich, and I know I don't write songs to get famous. I know I do write songs to get to know myself and what matters and who I am, and lately I know that I write songs to cheer myself up. And I always encourage people to do that same thing. And so here's another one of the new songs. Hopefully it'll hit the spot for you tonight. Again, Brian is just so lovely to be here at Winterfolk once again. This is a song called "Every Precious Day." Never mind the message that everything is lost. Focus on the blessings, bridges we have crossed. Be part of the changes getting underway. Come to treasure every precious day. Loosen up your shoulders, set your feet on ground. Come back to the moment where freedom is found. Precious day. May we treasure every precious day. Behold how the light breaks through in such surprising rays, beckoning us into blue. It sends us on our way. Everything is ever new, and nothing's here to stay. Treasure every precious day. May we treasure every precious day. So lay down all your burdens, all that worldly weight. Open wide the curtains. Do not hesitate. Fill your heart with love and give it all away as we treasure every precious day. May we treasure every precious day. Behold how the light breaks through in such surprising rays, beckoning us into blue. It sends us on our way. Everything is ever new, and nothing's here to stay. May we treasure every precious, savor every single precious day. May we treasure every precious day. May we treasure every precious day. Thank you all so much. Thanks so much. Have a great Winterfolk weekend.
Lynn Harrison, ladies and gentlemen. I told you she was great. I just saw in my computer, I just noticed we had viewers in China, Australia, did I mention Yugoslavia, and Russia. So we're going. Why don't you guys make a lot of noise, and we'll show the rest of the world how we do things in Toronto. Thank you, Lynn. That was great. You and I made a lot of notes what we were going to talk about, and I'm not going to use them. I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to talk to you. Why don't you step over here? Okay, and we go back a long way. I've seen you grow as an artist, as a human, as a minister, ordained minister over the years. Now, I have some pictures of you that I dug up out of the archives. That I know the people here can't see them, but we have a picture of Lynn 21 years ago at Winterfolk XXI. I'm sorry you all can't see it. That's you. Yeah, we were all young and good looking then. Well, you're still good looking.
As are you.
Oh, thank you so much. Flattery will get you nowhere. Now,
It's wonderful that you found that. My goodness.
oh, wrong way. And then that's you.
Another one. There's
That's
another
great.
one.
Just perfect. Thanks, Doris.
Wow. Yes, absolutely.
And that is, I don't even know which Winterfolk, but all I can say is what a babe.
Thank you. That's very kind. This is like a trip down memory lane. It really is. My goodness.
Now, this is a very special weekend for Lynn and also for Winterfolk, and I'm so glad we can include her here today. But we had a conflict of dates, which happens from time to time. Now, Lynn is releasing an album tomorrow night, and her timing conflicted with Winterfolk, or Winterfolk's timing conflicted with Lynn. But if you're not at Winterfolk, you better be at Lynn's CD release, and I mean that because we're checking and we're taking names. So Lynn, why don't you tell us all about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's at 7:30 at Eastminster Church, 310 Danforth. And you can find tickets at Eventbrite. And if you can't make the show, you can get the link to the live stream, which is then going to be a recording afterwards. So you can always watch it later on. So you could actually be at Winterfolk tomorrow night and be able to catch my concert too. So that's Lynn Harrison Treasure CD release at Eastminster, Saturday, February 25th.
That's great, Lynn. And I'm so excited that, I'm part of this vibrant roots community, and I'm really sorry that our dates conflict, but I want to wish you an amazing CD release. Okay, give it up for the amazing, great performer, Lynn Harrison.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay. Our next performer, I made notes for all of the artists, except I didn't make any notes for our next performer because, I didn't start in music till very late in life. I was 49 when I released my first album, and all I could think to myself is, I want to be like David Essig. It's true. This guy is a Canadian treasure. He's been on the music scene like forever. He's a legend in Canada, and I love his music. I love the way he plays, and I especially love his stories. When he plays, he always has a great story. I had the pleasure of David being my host guest for quite a few weeks a few years ago when he was in Toronto, and he has many skills other than music, but his other skill that I noticed right away was that he knows how to fix stuff. So I had him repairing all the stuff in my condo that fell apart. Anyways, we'll have a better discussion later. And it's a privilege and a pleasure to introduce a Canadian legend. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for David Essig.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's great to be back. I've actually found I was coming out here from the West Coast, and I had my coat on. It's the only coat that I own that's heavy enough to wear in the wintertime in Ontario anymore. And so I reached in the pocket, and there was my boarding pass from WestJet from the last time that I played here. So thank you, Brian. It was 3 years ago. So it's great to be back again. I'd like to take a moment and thank the 3 preceding performers who played tonight. All 3 of you were wonderful. It was so great to stand in the back and listen to you. I was thinking of Lynn especially when I was planning my set, that this kind of resonates with her career as well. Said he'd studied medicine and we could call him Doc. He said he knew religion and he told us all of God. He told us what we needed and we saw what he got when he was down inside of Flo's Cafe. She said her name was Jennifer. It was a name she liked to use. She said she come from Denver, where she got the walking blues. And she lived with a man down in Louisville, Kentucky, and you could never choose when you were down inside of Flo's Cafe. Oh, you could not go unnoticed inside that small cafe. And many times she told us she had planned it that way, down inside of Flo's Cafe. Now Flo herself, we never really got to know her well. She mostly seemed to worry about what she had to sell. But she had a son in a military prison, and you could never tell when you were down inside of Flo's Cafe. Oh, you could not go unnoticed inside that small cafe. And many times she told us she had planned it that way, down inside of Flo's Cafe. I just keep sitting here with all the friends I've known, for it seems like years I've heard their songs. Where have the good times gone? And I just wish Flo would take me home, 'cause we all live alone when we're down inside of Flo's Cafe. Oh, you could not go unnoticed inside that small cafe. And many times she told us she had planned it that way, down inside of Flo's. Oh, you could not go unnoticed inside that small outside of Flo's Cafe. On the spur line to hell, there's a prairie motel where the desk clerk remembers your name. And she blows you a kiss, 'cause the lobby smells like piss. And it's the last stop on the train. And you're up in your room with that Lysol perfume, all the towels so neatly arranged. And the guy down the hall put his fist through the wall, 'cause it's the last stop on the train. And it's cold and it's clear, and the night lasts all year. It's a long way from Portage and Maine. And they closed it all down when the co-op left town. It's the last stop on the train. Yeah, it's cold and it's clear. What am I doing here? It's a long way from Portage and Maine. And they closed it all down when the co-op left town. It's the last stop on the train. Cold and it's clear. What am I doing here? It's a long way from Portage and Maine. And they slowed it all down when the co-op left town. It's the last stop on the train. Now down in the bar, there's a fading old star who's hoping his luck is gonna change. And for sure he'll let you know about the night he met Hank Snow. It's the last stop on the train. And it's cold and it's clear. What am I doing here? It's a long way from Portage and Maine. And they slowed it all down when the co-op left town. That's the last stop on the train. Yeah, they slowed it all down when the co-op left town. That's the last stop on the train. It's the last stop on the train. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, thanks. I wanted to play those two songs to you back to back because it took me 2 days to get here, and it's so special to be in this room. I have so many happy memories of being here in this room and in this town, and it's just great to be here. Those two songs I just played, Flo's Cafe and The Last Stop on the Train, those are the first and last songs I ever wrote. I wrote Flo's Cafe in 1965, I think, and I was the first song I had in my pocket when I came to Canada. I crossed the border and came up in 1971, Queenston-Lewiston Bridge, and ran into this great bunch of musicians here in the Toronto area and Hamilton and London and Kitchener-Waterloo and Guelph. And they kind of adopted me and took me in and introduced me to a guy named Paul Mills, who's playing here. And Paul and I recorded Flo's Cafe at Studio 4S right up there underneath the railroad tracks, just a short walk from here, and that was over 50 years ago. And that was Flo's Cafe. And in those days, they put out 45 records, and they had CBC 45s, and they sent them out to every radio station in Canada, every CBC station, and it was marvelous because I didn't even kind of know where Edmonton was then, you know, and suddenly there was CBC in Edmonton playing my songs, and it felt so good. And then that second song I played, the other song I played for you, The Last Stop on the Train, I wrote that last week. So there you go. Today is a momentous day, the anniversary of one of the most tragic events, certainly the most tragic political event of the 21st century. And it's something that's struck me very deeply. My wife is from Slovenia. And we lived through the Bosnian War, which is over 20 years ago, and thought we would never live to see another conflagration of that dimension and magnitude again. And now we're in the middle of something far worse. So to our brothers and sisters around the corner there at St. Vladimir's Church, and to all their relatives back in Europe, here's a song for them and for us. I realized, I had an epiphany about 20 years ago, I suppose. I was in Switzerland, and I was walking down Bahnhof Street, which is the main street of Zurich, and there are all these little banks. And these little banks have little brass plates out on the door, but they're banks you've never heard of, you know. And you realize there's nefarious stuff going on in these places. And it occurred to me that every time a bomb is dropped or a gun is fired or a missile goes off, somebody wrote a check. Like money changed hands for that. None of that stuff is free. And I thought about, what are the guys like that actually put those checks together? They're walking around Zurich, nicely dressed, you know. So I wrote a song about that. Quiet money comes to town, try to keep his profile down. He stays in rented rooms in small hotels, and with a little bijou on his arm, exuding all that old world charm, he plays a game the whole world knows so well. His specialty is a long contract, full of language so abstract that nothing there is ever what it seems. And when the deal is done and the glasses are raised, everyone had empty praise for the way quiet money kept it clean. And in the private banks down on Bahnhof Street, quiet money is so discreet. The talk is all of commerce and exchange. And he's seldom seen and rarely heard, and no one ever says a word about the things quiet money has arranged. He's seldom seen and rarely heard, and no one ever says a word about the things quiet money has arranged. was a master of hypocrisy. A push on take held tragedy, secure in knowing that all he's done is right. And the only guilt he ever feels is when that little bijou kneels before him like a hungry acolyte. And for that small mistake he's made, a little penance is gladly paid, and order Mars Piaget for his wife. And he'll give the kids a special treat, a skiing trip up to San Maurice, just another day in quiet money's life. But in the private banks down on Banhoff Street, quiet money is so discreet. The talk is all of commerce and exchange. But far off on some broken ground, the sisters lay their brothers down with the things quiet money has arranged. Yeah, far off on some broken ground, the sisters lay their brothers down from the things quiet money, with the things quiet money, by the things quiet money has arranged.
Thank you so much. And I thank you guys so much. And I'm the first to admit that some of these songs are heavy sledding emotionally. You know, I get it. So I'm going to end on a lighter note. Oh, I just thought that was one finger coming up there. Oh, that was two fingers. Oh, I get two. Oh, that's great. I get to do another one. Okay. I'll do another new song for you. This is about a couple from Winnipeg that go up to Fort McMurray to make some money. And do you want to know about the tunings? Okay, I play in D tunings. I play in two different ones, Dad-Gad and D major tuning, which is the G goes down on F sharp, and that's for slide and for the more bluesy sound. So it's like having two guitars in one by just changing the G string a half a tone. That's all you have to do. And I decided right before the pandemic started, my wife and I went to Barcelona for a holiday, and it was marvelous. And I went to see a bunch of Spanish guitar players, Catalan guitar players play, and watch the way they hold their hands and the way they do things. And I kind of turned around my own guitar playing and kind of reinvented myself and play almost all the time in these two open tunings now. And it works for me. So come to our guitar workshop tomorrow afternoon, and you can hear more about that. So they're Ukrainians. This is a Ukrainian couple from Winnipeg. They decide to go to Fort McMurray. And the girl from Manitoba had her face round as the moon, and a smile that rolled me over in a backseat way too soon. And before we even knew it, she's popping buttons off her dress. So we loaded up that Buick, we were packed and headed west. Now I'm pushing tools at Suncor. We got an Atco double wide, a little place out on the highway, not far from Riverside. And our son's a local hero in the crease for Junior A. We were right there in the front row the night he stopped the power play. We were right there in the front row the night he stopped the power play. And his sister's down in Red Deer running hot shots on the rigs, and we hardly ever see her since her husband made it big. And
And there's a lot of talk of Houston and how the bills got paid. And we wonder what's the use in all the promises we made. There's a lot of talk of Houston and how the bills got paid. And we wonder what's the use in all the promises we made. So the house is on the market. Let's see what it might bring. We got a fifth wheel, we can park it in the driveway till next spring. We'll run down to San Felipe, where I've heard the fishing's good. How we made it through these winters, girl, I never understood. We'll head down to San Felipe, where I've heard the fishing's good. How we made it through these winters, girl, I never understood. I still remember that old Buick and that white spot on the road. And we danced in Fort McMurray until the good life got us old. And the girl from Manitoba still got a face round as the moon, and a smile that rolled me over in a backseat way too soon. And the girl from Manitoba still got that face round as the moon, and a smile that rolled me over in a backseat way too soon. And a smile still rolled me over in a backseat way too soon. A Portrait of Canada. And here's another one. That's Manitoba and Alberta kind of song there, but this one's right. Dyed in the Wool, Ontario, Muskoka. I moved to Canada in '71. The first place I went was up to Huntsville, Emsdale area, and I ran into a guy. I'd emigrated in this beat-up old van, this Ford Econoline van. And of course, it broke down immediately, and the guys at Canadian Tire said, well, you can't afford to have it fixed here at our shop rate, but we know a guy. And you go over to his house, and if you help him, he may have got a tripod made of trees out in the yard, and he can jack the motor out of your van and fix it for you and so on. And so they said his name's Harvey Attridge, and he lives in Utterson, Ontario, which is around between Gravenhurst and Bracebridge area there. He said he'll fix it for you, and he'll work for cash, just a few dollars an hour. You give him a case of beer, and everything's good. And he taught me. I met him, and I went over and helped him, and he taught me this great lesson that I've never forgotten, and it's one I share with children and adults throughout the known universe. I tell everybody this is a good idea. As Brian pointed out, I do like to fix things, and it's really great to fix things that aren't really, really broken. And one of the ways to keep them from being really broken is to lubricate them, right? So that's what this song is about, lubricating your stuff, okay? It's as simple as that. So I leave you with this lesson. Come see us tomorrow. I'll be playing in the guitar workshop with Kevin Bright and Alfie Smith. I'm just going to do a cappella vocals with those two guys at the end there. I'm basically a songwriter, you know. I don't play much guitar. And then tomorrow evening I have got a concert across the street in the church, and I'd love to see you all come out for that as well. So it's been great. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for 52 years of support. There was a 63 Ford Econoline van. It seemed like a home to me. It ran and it ran till it busted a can with a case of engine fatigue. Old Harvey come out in his pickup truck in the middle of a driving rain, and he towed her home and he fixed her up, made her run real good again. Singing, that old truck has got a lot of heart. Remember that grease is cheaper than parts. I'd rather change your oil than your piston rings. Listen to the motor, hear what Harvey sing.
grease is cheaper than the parts. Try to change your oil than your piston rings. Listen to the motor here, old Harvey sing. Now Harvey was kind of a crazy old man, but he was never nobody's fool. I'd stand around and help him do the best that I can, pass a wrench and hand him a tool. And he'd crank on this and he'd crank on that, and he'd curse and he'd swear till he'd run. And now it's 52 years as I look back, it was always a lot of fun. Singing, that old truck has got a lot of heart. Remember that the grease is cheaper than parts. I'd rather change your oil than your piston rings. Listen to the motor here, old Harvey sing. Well, I went out to see old Harvey one morning. It was just about to break of day. And his good wife said with a tear in her eye, "Oh, Harvey's passed away." So I went and I took that beat-up truck to the hill where the old man lies. Now Harvey can run my Econoline van down the 401 in the sky, singing, that old truck has got a lot of heart. Remember that grease is cheaper than parts. I'd rather change your oil than your piston rings. Listen to the motor here, old Harvey sing. That old truck had a lot of heart. They told me that grease was cheaper than parts. I'd rather change your oil than your piston rings. Listen to the motor here, old Harvey sing. He told me that grease is cheaper than parts. He'd rather change my oil than my piston rings. Listen to the motor here, old Harvey sing. Listen to the motor here, old Harvey sing. Dun, 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 dun.
There you go.
David Essig, ladies and gentlemen. That was great, David. David is our last artist of the evening, and he gave us all a very important message. Grease stuff, right?
Grease stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Now, for all the other artists, I wrote stuff in advance, but for David, I didn't. So what the heck is going on with you, David Essig?
Well, I wrote, since I saw you last, another book, and I have copies of it here. It's called Fair Days. I took 13 songs, the 12 that I'd written, and plus a blues song, and I wrote short stories based on the arc of narrative in those 13 songs. So I wrote the book. I did 13 stories, put it together. It's called Fair Days. And then I re-recorded all 13 of the songs and made a CD. And the CD is tucked into the book, or you can download it for free on SoundCloud. It's there for everybody to listen to. So it's a kind of a combination literary musical project.
Well, that's great, David. I didn't even know about that because during the pandemic, a lot of artists sort of lost touch with each other and with the world. And you moved out to BC, or you're on it.
I live on a little island called Protection Island, which is in the harbor of Nanaimo, off of Vancouver Island. So I basically live in the water. I live in the Salish Sea in a little tiny community.
Well, that's great. And I was just thinking myself, I have an issue with artists who can tune with no tuner. I don't know. But that's a learned skill. David is performing at Winterfolk the whole weekend. For those of you who are in Toronto, we have 2 days of music, February 24th and 25th and 26th, which is tomorrow and Sunday. And David will be doing a number of sets, including, I remember, thank you, Darcy, some guitar workshops. So he's going to show everybody how that magic stuff is done. I want to thank everybody, not only for being here, but there's a whole team of people behind the scenes that make this happen. Thank you, Darcy, the sound man, Darcy Wickham, for especially for yanking on the cable while I'm talking. David Story here, the producer. He likes to stay in the background, but he's very talented and does a marvelous job. Arturus on the camera back there. I want to thank Arturus. Come on. Are you shy? Okay. I want to thank Cleela Arrington for filling in at the last second. Harp and Norm. Lynn Harrison. And, of course, David Essig. And for me, I'm honored to be among this elite group of artists and part of the the world roots community. And David, you did a great show tonight. So I'm going to let you close the show. How's that? Put you on the spot.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you at the festival this weekend. It's Winterfolk, the 21st Winterfolk. 21st edition of your Winterfolk is right here in your own hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this weekend.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the world. Thank you.